My name is Riley Moses, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the dangers of fast fashion clothing. Have you ever bought a trendy piece of clothing, maybe off of Shein or wrongly, only wore it once or twice and then threw it into your closet? Well, I'm going to tell you about the dangers of that and how you're contributing to global pollution in our world. What if I told you that your purchase might be causing unsafe working conditions and the overwhelming consumer culture that fuels it all? Fast fashion, a term for the rapid production and consumption of cheap, trendy clothing, has significant consequences. It can be dangerous to the environment. You're also supporting low-paying workers and young kids, and also the consumer culture, and it's a phenomenon we should all be aware of. Though extensive research on the topic, including reports on environmental degradation and labor rights violations in the fashion industry, I've gained insight into the negative effects of fast fashion. Additionally, I have seen firsthand the effects that fast fashion purchases have caused to our world. Today, I will be discussing how fast fashion harms the environment, exploits workers, and fosters a culture of overconsumption and waste. First, let's look at how fast fashion negatively affects the environment. The fast fashion industry is the second largest polluter in the world, following the oil industry. According to Elizabeth L. Klein in her book, Overdressed, The Shockingly High Cost of Cheap Fashion, written in 2012, the United Nations, the fast fashion industry, has contributed to 10% of global carbon emissions. An estimated 92 million of textiles are thrown away each year, much of it ending up in landfills, where it takes hundreds of years to decompose. Many fast fashion brands release clothing lines quickly, encouraging consumers to discard items that are no longer on trend. Now that we've covered the environmental dangers, let's discuss how fast fashion exploits workers around the globe. Many fast fashion brands source their clothing from factories in developing countries where workers are paid below minimum wage and often work in unsafe working conditions. A report from International Labour Organization states that workers in India and China face hazardous environments and long hours for minimal pay. According to Kate Fletcher in Fashion and Sustainability and Design for Change, Lawrencine Publishing, written in 2014, in some regions, children are forced into the garment industry, working in sweatshops instead of attending school, in a direct violation of their basic human rights. Major brands such as Nike and Zara have faced public backlash for their involvement in the child labor practices. Lastly, let's examine how fast fashion perpetrates overconsumption and waste in modern consumer culture. Fast fashion promotes a disposable mentality, where clothes are seen as a short-term purpose rather than long-lasting investments, as they should be. Advertising and social media influencers encourage consumers to constantly buy new, cheap, and items to stay fashionable, leading to an endless cycle of consumption. Many people feel the need to constantly update their wardrobe to match fast fashion trends, leading to unnecessary purchases and spending. And it ultimately is just a waste. According to a report from McKinsey & Company, consumers are purchasing clothes 60% more frequently than they did 15 years ago. Let's review the major points I've discussed. As fast fashion continues to drive the modern clothing market, we need to acknowledge the serious impact it has on the environment, workers, and consumer culture, and consider the consequences of our clothing choices. Fast fashion harms the environment by contributing to pollution and textile waste. It exploits workers. There is unfair wages and dangerous working conditions. This encourages overconsumption and the perpetration of a disposable culture. The next time you pick up a cheap, trendy piece of clothing, you should think about the impact it will have on our planet Earth. The people who made it and the culture it feeds, our choice matters. And the change begins with us, you and me. Thank you.